Welcome back. Sports, it's honesty, values. It's all the positive sides of any coin. And when corruption is included, then sports is not there. The good manners means a lot. And tennis, it was maybe the very first sport to have a body inside the International Federation to fight corruption. It's the ITU, Integrity Tennis Unit. What about the Integrity Tennis Unit or the ITU? What about its job? How it's fighting corruption? Is it related to specific cases or to any kind of corruption? We are going to have the details with our expert, Mr. Hassan Elaroussy, Egyptian Tennis Federation Board member and the International Tennis Federation Junior Committee member. Hello, sir.
Good morning. Yes, how are you?
Sir, we were speaking about the very first time I knew, would you please forgive my ignorance, that in 2008 tennis was one of the first sports to establish its own anti-corruption body to fight corruption. And to fight corruption, I think, in all forms. First, speaking about the history of this unit and how it managed to fight corruption in all forms and all over the world.
Yes. Sorry, I can't hear you. Could you ask the question again? I'm sorry. Your voice is...
Sir, can you hear me well?
Now better. Can you say the question again, please?
Just before being with you, sir, via phone, I was speaking about tennis as one of the first sports to have its own anti-corruption body to fight corruption in all forms and yes, to have zero tolerance policy against any kind of corruption, whether it's match fixing, it's betting, whatever. I'd like you, sir, to shed more light first, or to give us in brief a small idea about this unit and about how it managed its fight against corruption worldwide in the field of tennis.
Sure. The TIU, Tennis Integrity Unit, was established in 2008. Mm-hmm. And as you said, it was one of the first sports to establish its own anti-corruption body.
Yeah.
Basically, it covers all persons, and it's bound by the Tennis Anti-Corruption Program, mm-hmm, which gives the TIU the right to investigate and to, as you said, zero tolerance for corruption in the game of tennis. Mm-hmm. The Tennis Integrity Unit is an anti-corruption body covering all professional tennis around the world. Mm-hmm. It's fully responsible for enforcing the sport's zero tolerance policy on betting-related corruption. Mm-hmm. In doing so, it has three main strategic priorities: preventing, mm-hmm, corruption from taking place. That's, mm-hmm, number one. Number two, investigation and prosecution of offenders. Yep. Number three, which something for us as the Egyptian Tennis Federation, we really put a lot of time and effort, which is the delivering of anti-corruption education for our players, yep, and stakeholders to recognize and report corrupt activities.
Yeah. Sir, I'm sorry, I'm going to ask some other questions because I really do not know the details of the missions of this unit. For example, yes, doping, is it included? I mean, for example, this unit had something to do with Maria Sharapova, for example, when she was accused of this meldonium issue and when she was out of the courts for long months?
As far as we as the Egyptian Tennis Federation, we are in communication now with the TIU. We're only talking about the
only betting and match fixing?
Which obviously includes the match fixing. Yeah. The anti-doping, we have not opened that file because I'm not sure if it comes under the TIU or not. As far as per our many meetings with the TIU in London in the past weeks, mm-hmm, I have been advised that eventually it will be part of the unit of the TIU. But for now, for Egypt, we're talking about anti-corruption. Yeah. And we are putting a plan together with the TIU for Egyptian tennis, and we're kicking off this plan next Friday, 12th of June, with our first live webinar from London, mm-hmm, to our Egyptian tennis stakeholders, mainly our junior players who are playing international tournaments, our men's and ladies who are playing the international tournaments, our referees, and also our tennis heads in Egypt, the head coaches and the technical directors who are responsible with dealing with the juniors and the players. This will be our first webinar, which is 100% fully led by the tennis integrity units.
This is the one or the event which is going to take place, inshallah, next Friday, 12th of June?
Next Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Cairo time, which is 4 p.m. London time.
Yeah.
And it will be only for Egyptian tennis. And we are, I mean, as I said, we're inviting all the stakeholders of the Egyptian tennis to attend this very important kickoff webinar. And the main objective is to give an overall brief about what is the TIU, what does it do, what's the program that that it serves the tennis community, and then followed by this webinar, there will be a full-fledged education plan by the Egyptian Tennis
This is what I wanted to speak about, education plan. I even like the term. What are the most important points which are going to be included under this umbrella, under this slogan, education plan? Because maybe many of our juniors in specific can be deceived by some people who would try to convince them to do things which are not included into the fair and just and clean play, if I may say so.
Yes, again, we're just touching the first part of this program. I want to call it a program for the Egyptian Tennis Federation. The details of the plan, we're still in discussion with the TIU, and obviously they have their own guidelines that we will follow. And obviously they'll have to tailor this program in a way for our Egyptian stakeholders. As I said, the players, the referee, the coaches. We have not agreed so far to the full-fledged plan, because this obviously plan will be shared with our Egyptian Tennis Board of Directors and our president, Captain Ismail Shafi, and to be reviewed and to be executed in the coming days and weeks after our first webinar, which is next Friday, 12th of June.
And this seminar is going to be the start of many seminars or many video conferences which are going to take place online for our tennis arena in general.
Yes. This will be our, as I said, it's a kickoff. It's a kickoff for the program of the TIU in Egypt. And based on this webinar, as I agree with the TIU, they'll get a better sense, a better feeling of what's going on in Egypt regarding this vital issue. And based on the outcome and the feedback we're going to get, obviously we can have more than 1, 2, 3, 4 webinars. It depends on our needs. We have a limited number of people to attend the webinar, which is going to be, obviously, as I said, will be tailored to our stakeholders, the junior players, the men and ladies, our referees, and the tennis heads in Egypt. And we will open up later on to other tennis stakeholders based on the guidelines of the TIU.
Yeah. Mr. Elaroussy, I mean, I should seize the opportunity since you're with us now via phone as a member of the Egyptian Tennis Federation board and speak about tennis in general in Egypt. I mean, we had before at least the idea or the concept that the tennis is one of the sports only for the elite, and it was not that popular among kids. But now I think the case is totally different, and tennis is becoming more popular even a day after the other. Would you give me a brief idea, and would you please do not focus on Cairo and Alexandria? I'd like to know the case in general, because I really do know that there are a lot of talents scattered all over Egypt, whether in South Egypt or in the Nile Delta, for example.
Yes. Well, I mean, what you're asking really needs there's a lot of information to be given. I'll try and brief it.
Yeah.
We, as the Egyptian Tennis Federation, in the past 2 years, we've been working a lot on our 4 main pillars, which is our players, our coaches, our referees, and our parents, obviously. through our committee, which is the development committee for the players for under 10 and 12, for our junior players under 14 and 16, and men's and ladies. There has been a lot of development activities to increase participation for the young kids, for the young players, and obviously to improve the performance of our high-performance players, which I mean, I think we are happy to say that in the past couple of years there has been development with Mohamed Safwat now being 130 in the world, Mayar Sharif in the top 200 in the world, and we have more stars coming up in the future. It's a long-term process.
Yeah.
As I said, we've been only around for 2 years, our federation, under the presidency of Captain Ismail Shafi'i, but we put a plan for this duration of our board, and hopefully for the next 4 years after.
At least it was the first time for us to have a place in the Olympics with the two names you have mentioned.
I forgot to mention this. This is one of, as you said, this is one of the fruits that came out. That we have 2 players who got qualified.
And I had the honor to host Sandra Samir, for example. She is also such a figure in tennis, and she had a lot of championships of future, for example, and she was all the time moving forward. We hope that this COVID-19 is going to go to an end, and we are going to continue action on the ground and to have more figures and more names shining in the world of tennis. Gaber, for example, of Tunisia, I really like her, and I hope that more Arabs even are going to shine in this world, the world of the white game, as the great Adel Sharif taught us long ago.
Yes, obviously, yes. As you said, between Sandra Samir, Mayar Sharif, and the whole ladies national team, they are building the stepping stones for youngsters to come up in the future, along with Mohamed Safwat and Karim Mamoun on the men's side.
The Mamoons.
Obviously, yes, Karim Mamoun was also our number 2 player in on the National Davis Cup team. I think between these 3-4 figures and their ranking worldwide, this will be a motivational reason for more youngsters to get into the game of tennis and to obviously excel in the game. Because we have a lot, as you said, we have a lot of potential. We are a nation of 100 million with millions of kids under the age, talents and kids under the age of 25. And again, as you said, tennis is not anymore just for the elite. Tennis has changed a lot dramatically in the world, globally. And in Egypt in the past...
Objection, still the rackets are that expensive. I'm joking,
well,
of course.
I mean, like any other sports, you know, many sports, the equipment tends to be a factor. But again, the ITF, with all the national federations around the world, are working to make tennis more appealing and less cost and more access to the game of tennis. Have
you missed Wimbledon? A yes or no question.
We all miss Wimbledon. We all miss everything. We all miss all the tournaments. But again, you know, safety comes is the number 1 factor now for the ITF. The last decision was made by the ITF recently that all the tournaments are on hold till the end of July, and then by the end of July they'll take another decision whether to continue or not.
Okay. One final question: are you going to miss Roger Federer to the maximum, or it's life?
Sorry, ask the question again, please.
Roger Federer. Roger Federer said he is going to leave now.
Actually, I heard, a lot of people heard that, but nothing official as far as I know. I mean, you mean if he retiring? I'm not sure. I don't have this information.
Turning 39. Turning 39 on the 8th of August 2020. Do you think that he is going to give it a second thought?
All of us knowing Roger and how disciplined he is and how his love for the game, I think Roger is going to stay for, personally I think, and don't quote me, for at least another season. He's just waiting for the tennis to open up, and probably going to be going after his 21st Grand Slam by winning the Wimbledon next year.
Well, Mr. Hassan,
that's my personal opinion.
Mr. Hassan Elaroussy, sir, thank you very much for your input, and we are going to leave you, sir, with a promise to have you here live in the studio to speak more and more about the white game and about where Egypt is positioning and about the coming future, which is going, inshallah, to enjoy more Egyptian talents in the world of tennis. Thank you, sir.